Hey, how's it going? Debbie here. In this video, I'm going to be talking through some top common business bottlenecks so that you can possibly identify some of these inside your own business and start putting some SOPs or certain systems around certain bottlenecks as you grow and increase efficiency so that you're not doing repetitive stuff day to day and you can actually have more time freedom as you grow your own company. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the top common business bottlenecks. One common one for entrepreneurs or for startups especially would be product market fit. And in this video specifically, we're not going to be talking about this because this is a whole different topic. Finding product market fit. A sign of not having product market fit inside your business is not having any clients coming in. And for most of you who are watching, I believe you're someone that's already an established business owner or someone that has already a clientele. So I'll be going into client fulfillment, client retention, and then marketing and sales, which is also one important part. Before you start fixing your marketing and sales system, make sure to have your client fulfillment and retention problems solved first before you jump into that. Because without the first two, your business is just going to be leaking money. So first of the problems I'm going to be talking about is the client fulfillment problems. When someone pays, what actually happens after this? Can you build out a flowchart to visualize it better, to create certain SOPs around it? Could you create certain automation to eliminate something that you don't need in your onboarding process? If there are certain commonly asked questions, are you able to actually put them into digital assets like videos to eliminate certain lengthy onboarding process? For example, when someone onboards with us, we send out a email requesting all the assets and also an onboarding form. If we don't get a response from the client in the onboarding form, we'll set up automation to send out reminders for the client to create their account. Another thing in client fulfillment could be not having standardized services. For example, at the very beginning when I started running ads, there are some people that don't have Facebook pages, so I would go in and set up the Facebook page for them versus someone that already have Facebook pages. The whole process is going to be a lot different. Next up could be offering too many custom services. For example, website hosting, doing Facebook ads, doing SEO, Google ads, LinkedIn marketing, all these different services. Identify what your company vision is and what's actually transformational for your client to see the result and cut all the losers. Another problem could be inefficient business models. For example, one-to-one coaching or one-to-many group coaching. Next thing you can look at is your payment solutions. For example, when someone pay, are you using Stripe or using PayPal? What do you have a unified payment solution for when people pay? And once this payment is paid, is it integrated into your onboarding process? For example, once you receive this payment is paid from Stripe, this triggered all the onboarding process, like the emails and the form to send out. Can you also put it into your Slack channel to see what are some payments that are won, some payments that are lost? For the payments that are won, you continue on with the onboarding process. With the payments that are lost, you get on the call with the client, you or someone else under your team get on a call with your client to say, hey, this is potentially lost, or send out trigger messages reminding the client, hey, this card didn't work, asking them to renew. So you can set up certain systems around your payment solutions to not do everything manually. Next thing is scheduling. For example, if you're a service-based business, most likely you're going to have to schedule calls with your client. Do you actually have a calendar that you guys use for them to book? Or is your current scheduling manual, like, sending emails back and forth? Next thing is fulfillment bandwidth. If you are feeling like you are handling too many clients or doing too many things, this is important for you to really look at your onboarding, look at your whole fulfillment process. Just jot it down in a Google Doc. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just jot it down your process. Look at what can be automated and look at what can be systemized. What can you do to create SOPs around it? Then delegate certain tasks. And that would sometimes go down to team member and employee problems. If you find that worker is still unable to fulfill after you start delegating things out, then this sometimes comes down to leadership, how to lead your own team, and do they have certain clear roles and expectations, tasks, and responsibilities that you've communicated. Or another thing to create certain incentive would be setting team member milestones, rewarding or really acknowledging their work. Another thing with team member or employee problems would be, do you actually have a clear vision or mission so that you can communicate that further down to your team members? Next up, inefficient meetings. I see actually a lot of people having this, like having redundant, inefficient meetings, not having a precise agenda and just kind of wasting each other's time. So after client fulfillment, we'll jump into client retention. Are your clients actually renewing up on your service or continuing to buy from you? If you know your client is going to renew, if they have certain knowledge, are you able to build certain digital courses around it to help them gain that knowledge? And when they are absent in certain courses, rather than them saying, hey, this product or service doesn't work, this is a scam, send a reminder saying, hey, I saw that you were absent in these courses. Let me know if you have any questions or anything that you might need help with. And these are all things that you can automate with tools like Zapier, Integromat. Another big reason why a client won't renew would be communication. You can start thinking how you can communicate with your clients better or systematically. You can set up things like ticketing systems for them to ask certain questions instead of just dumping all the questions to you. You can create a support at whatever your company name is. Then just have them, instead of driving people's questions to you directly as a CEO, drive the questions to the ticketing system. And if there are common FAQs that you see your client asking, you can create some digital courses around it as well. Or another option could be hiring a client success manager, which his or her job is mainly to make sure that the clients are getting the results they want, they're making progress, or they don't have any problems that they're running into. These are all some things that you can increase your client communication. You could also send out little gifts for your client to know that you appreciate them. For example, if you're a real estate agent, I know a lot of people do client appreciation events. You could also encourage people sharing their success stories. It helps your client acknowledge their own milestone. And for other people who are also your clients can also see that other people are seeing successes or they are seeing transformation, so that they're less likely to complain, hey, this doesn't work. It'll help them think about, hey, maybe this is something that I can work on better. And a question that you can ask yourself mainly is, how do you add more value to your clients and how do you streamline? Because there's a quote, price is only an issue in the absence of value. So ask yourself, how can you create more value to your clients and what are some things that you can streamline around your client communication? For example, holding regular meetings or coaching calls, one-to-many coaching calls. And the last thing I want to talk about, instead of client retention, sometimes you could also think about client ascension, which is essential to bring them to one program and giving them more information as they go over to the next level. And that goes down to human psychology of, achieving milestones and wanting to go to the next level. So after you've looked into these two fundamentals, client fulfillment and client retention problems, that's when we can start looking into marketing and sales. And a lot of, I want to stress this again, I want to emphasize this again, a lot of people I see start with marketing and sales, but they don't realize that their client fulfillment and client retention is leaking their company's profit. So before you start focusing too much on marketing and sales problems, make sure you look into client fulfillment and retention issues first. So inside marketing and sales problems, I'm going to break down into marketing first. I'm going to create a separate little category with sales. You can look at marketing as the party promoter. That's someone that brings people to the party. And sales is essentially the person at the front door that makes people know what is essentially inside the party and if this is really what they want. And one common marketing and sales bottleneck I see is sometimes businesses not having case studies and testimonials. And this is one of the most powerful marketing tools. So if you don't have any case studies or testimonials, make sure you are gathering results. When a client first get with you the first month or first 2 weeks, you can send them a survey asking them, are they satisfied with this? If they are, you can ask them for a testimonial. These are all different little ways to gather testimonials. Again, things can be automated or systematized so that you're not essentially creating more work for yourself and leveraging tools as you grow. Next, inside marketing and sales is knowing what's actually working and then increasing the efficiency of it. So, for example, knowing what's working, if it's mainly referral, which a lot of local businesses mainly work through that way. If it's mainly through referrals, are you able to create certain events around that so that people can get together? Or if you're doing one-on-one messaging or cold outreach, are you able to put some paid ads behind that to show your work or to put out your message? And here I want to emphasize one thing: systems, automation, delegation, these things only increase what you already have. If something isn't working and you put you delegate it out, it's still not going to work. If no one is responding to your outreach message, adding more of that is not really going to work. So make sure you're identifying the root cause of your problems. Next up, you can also build up a client acquisition system, which is something I've gone in depth in another video. Setting KPIs, benchmarks for your marketing and sales efforts. Also holding internal meetings for accountability if you have a team that runs your marketing and sales. And next thing for sales, specifically, if you are hiring a salesperson, are you giving them an onboarding training of how you would like the whole flow to go? What are some of your values that you would like your salesperson to communicate to the other person? Are they all documented down into a document, like a onboard training document for your salesperson? Are you recording your sales calls so that more salesperson you hire enter your team can look at past examples? Another important ingredient for your sales is, do you actually have demonstration assets? And people call it sales enablement assets. I like to call them call clarity assets because it feels more humanized, because essentially when we provide service, we're giving someone clarity in terms of what they want, not really manipulating them to buying our stuff. So that's how I word it differently. Some cold clarity assets examples could be a deck showing your client what is it that they're actually going to get inside the program. Another thing could be the ROI calculator, which is helping them understand what they could possibly get in return. Next, inside sales, make sure you are tracking your CPA, cost per acquisition, knowing how much it costs you to acquire a new customer if you're running paid ads, and also letting your salespeople know where to get support. So these are some top common bottlenecks that businesses have. And before you step on the pedal in your marketing and sales, make sure you're looking into your client fulfillment processes, identifying the bottlenecks, and also client retention bottlenecks. And next up, other little common business bottlenecks would be technology, which is people either have a lack of technology or they need to reduce the amount of technology or maintaining the technology, maintaining their CRM, how it actually works. I'll go more in depth into these another day. Another business bottleneck could be data problems. For example, when your client becomes your client, do you have a system to track their information so that you can actually reach out to them? And to begin with, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could just be a simple Google sheet. And if you're running paid advertising, are you tracking the number of leads, cost per acquisition, cost per book appointments? These are all important numbers to know for your business to know how you can increase or adjust your marketing. Next thing would be financial. And actually, a friend told me the other day, a friend of his, he was making over, I think, 20 or 30K per month in his business. But one time he actually struggled to buy food because he wasn't really tracking the revenue and expenses. He saw a lot of revenue coming in, so he thought he had a lot to spend. But then afterwards, he realized like how much his expense actually were. So look at your profit margins and making sure that you're tracking your revenue expenses, just getting clear of how much actually is your expense. Next thing in the business bottleneck could be something that are personal, your time management. Are you clear about where you are and your own productivity and your own system? Do you have something that tracks your own meetings, your own how you're doing your life? And this is definitely one of the most important factors too in running a business. You got to be clear with yourself. You got to be clear with yourself. You got to be right with yourself so that everything around you works. So looking into your own productivity system. And I think that's why everyone who runs a business is always into self-help. So a quick recap. We talked about top common business bottlenecks. It comes down to not having product market fit. If you don't have product market fit, you don't have to think about the rest. Next thing is client fulfillment. Do you have your onboarding process? Everything built out or laid out. Another bottleneck could be your retention. Are your clients renewing on your services? Marketing and sales. Do you have case studies, testimonials, and do you know what is working for you? Are you able to increase the efficiency in those? The technologies you're using, are you using too much technology or are you not using technology at all? Data, do you have a system that stores your clients' information or data of your marketing effort? Financial, look at your profit margin, look at your balance sheet. Personal, this is without a doubt something that you have to get clear with yourself. Your own time management. How are you managing your time? How do you want to spend your time? And knowing how you work best, are you clear with where you are going? So on and so forth. So I hope you find this video helpful. And if you would like a one-on-one company audit with me to go through some of your business bottlenecks to see how we can build up a better roadmap or system, I'll put a link to book with me for the company audit somewhere on this page. And thank you for watching.